You're listening to the Yahoo Finance Small Cap Show, powered by AGORACOM.com, the web's leading small cap portal.
Today, we're pleased to welcome the President and CEO of Starfield Resources, Mr. Andre Douchane. Starfield Resources is an advanced exploration and development stage company focused on its Ferguson Lake property in the Nunavut. The property has a significant concentration of nickel, copper, cobalt, platinum, and palladium, and is emerging as Nunavut's largest ongoing base and precious metal projects. Starfield Resources trades on the TSX under the symbol SRU. Mr. Douchane, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Andre, the date of today's recording, Wednesday, December 10th. You had a press release that crossed the wires earlier today. Tell us all about it.
I'll tell you, it's something that was very exciting to us all. We've had the news for a few days, but we wanted to make sure as we checked through it. As we announced earlier in the year, we had approximately 1,100 till samples that had been collected over a couple of years, and part of them had been processed, and part of them had not been processed. And we set about processing the majority of them this year, and to look for, among other things, diamonds and diamond indicators. And those samples have just sort of started, have been going through what they call the picking lab, or the area where they sit and actually take the little pieces apart and count the minerals and look for minerals. And the whole idea was to try and find some indicator minerals, which is typically what happens. But we had something quite rare happen in that we actually found a diamond. And what's even more significant is the fact that the diamond is in perfect shape, which means it wasn't transported very far. And it was probably transported by the last ice sheet. And it turned out to be in a very highly prospective area that was first sort of identified by a lot of our geophysical work that was done back in 2005.
Okay, let's talk about the rarity. Matter of fact, right in the press release, you're actually quoted as saying it's rare to find an actual diamond in a till sample. So how rare is it?
Well, there's quite a few diamond companies around us, and I actually got calls from two of them this afternoon.
Is that right?
Yes, and they were very congratulatory and, of course, very curious what we were going to do with the find, but neither of them have found the diamond.
Okay, so what are you going to do with the find?
We're hopeful to get back up there next year and really truth it on the ground. You have to realize these two samples that we're talking about are a whole kilometer apart. So there's quite a bit of distance in there, and we have to take the area where the diamond was found, and we have to sort of spread out on a much smaller grid and chase it back up ice. But we also know exactly where the potential diamond pipe is through the geophysics. So it shouldn't take us too much checking to see if it really does go back to that, and then we would drill. And if once we knew what we had, then we would probably, as I've always said, we don't know a lot about diamonds, and we could very well get involved with a joint venture partner that was hungry to get something like that developed.
Okay. In my introduction, I had said that this property really focuses on nickel, copper, cobalt, platinum, and palladium, but now we have diamonds into the mix. Does this change the focus?
It certainly changes the economic mix, and it creates one more element for us to focus on. We are well committed to our project up there, and we have continued to work on a hydromet process. We have that pretty much fleshed out. We had a press release that went out a while back talking about the hydrolysis process and how that was the last piece of the puzzle, and now we have a flow sheet and a mass balance fleshed out, and so we're moving forward with that. This is something I believe currently the management has the capacity to give full attention to also.
Okay. In layman's terms, has this become the meat and potatoes of this project, or is it really gravy?
Oh, I think it's gravy.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly where the diamond industry is going to go in the near future. Obviously, in the far future, it's going to go the same as everything else is. It will continue to grow in my mind, but in the near future, I suspect a lot of diamonds are purchased with excess purchasing power, and a lot of that's coming back. I mean, people lament the fall of the price of oil, but believe me, the cost of gasoline came right off the kitchen table, and for people that have to travel back and forth to work. And with the price of gasoline coming back down and the price of diesel fuel coming down, that'll go back on the kitchen table, and maybe there'll be some left over for some excess spending. But typically, things like diamonds and antiques and art and that sort of stuff doesn't get purchased during times of economic duress.
Okay, let's
so
talk.
I think we'll see the diamond market sort of draw back a little bit.
Okay, let's go back to the release itself. Were you actually surprised by this, or was it more of a quiet confidence, knowing that you always had something all along?
Oh no, I think we were all shocked by the diamond. I mean,
right.
As these things have evolved, we've been getting some of the indicators in them, which is what you have. But I mean, there were some demonstrative adjectives connected with the fact that the diamond was found, and that's about as far as I'll go on the radio.
Fair enough. Do some crystal ball gazing, if you could, Andre. Short term and also long term. Where do you see this project, your company, 3-6 months down the road, and also say 3 to 5 years down the road as well?
Well, we've always hoped that 3 to 5 years down the road that we'll be in production, and I think this adds some romance to it, the diamond find, and we certainly in the next 6 months to a year would hope to sort of flush this out. You know, we're really truly in a position where we have Ferguson Lake flushed out. This year's drilling probably brought the resources up to indicated from inferred that we need to go forward with the feasibility study. And, you know, we still will continue to work on Y Lake, and we'll continue to work on Grizzly, and we'll continue to work on the North Zone. And we're very excited to get those assays back also, which they're the last ones done, so they're kind of the last ones in, and we'll be looking forward to reporting those to the market and our shareholders. But 5 years down the road, you know, I just don't know when this market is going to rebound and when there's going to be money back in it for exploration companies.
Okay. Andre, that's it as far as the formal questions are concerned. I'll leave you the last word. Any final thoughts either about this press release that came out earlier today or about the company, Ferguson Lake in general?
Well, it's certainly a good way to end the year, and it certainly gave a little lift to the stock today, although these things always seem to be, these days, an excuse to sell to. But I think, we're looking forward to next year. We are financed well enough to hunker down and survive if we have to. We certainly don't want to do any fundraising with the stock at this level. And I think there's a lot of opportunity out there for us to look at other business and to become something more than we could have been had this downturn not come. So we're looking at this as an opportunity, and we're all excited to get going again real hard after the Christmas holidays. Okay.
On that note, Andre, I want to thank you very much for your time and sharing your thoughts with us about today's release and how it'll be impacting Starfield Resources.
Al, it's always great to talk to you, and thank you.
All right, thank you. And once again, that was Mr. Andre Douchane, President and CEO of Starfield Resources, which trades on the TSX under the symbol SRU. And that concludes the AGORACOM Investor Relations Beyond the Press Release program. I'm Al O'Grady. Thanks for joining us.